Hi, welcome back to my channel, and it looks like I've been sent here to piss some people off today. So it looks like we cannot get through one season of Real Housewives of Potomac without colorism rearing its ugly, trifling, raggedy face. So y'all wanted to talk about it, we're gonna talk about it. Okay, so after the last 2 episodes of RHOP, there's been a lot of conversation on Twitter especially, but Instagram as well, about colorism. The way that Robin has been treating Wendy has rubbed a lot of people wrong, myself included. Now, if you watch my channel, you know I love Robin. Robin and Candace are my faves on RHOP. So these last couple of episodes, it's been really hard for me. It's been really hard for me because Robin been doing some things and I'm looking at Robin like, girl, what are you doing? Stop that. I've been seeing a lot of people say that Robin is colorist, that the way that she's behaving towards Wendy is not right and they don't like it. And I do agree that I don't like it and I don't think it's right. Do I think Robin is a colorist? I've never felt that she's a colorist. Right hand to the man. I don't look at Robin and think that she is a colorist. I think out of the rest of them girls on that show, Robin got better sense. When it comes to Giselle, Mia, and Ashley, and even Karen, I think that Robin has better sense than that. I just want to speak on it a little bit because I've seen a lot of people getting in their emotions because the word colorism keeps coming up. And people are like, you shouldn't talk about it. It shouldn't be. It's gonna ruin the show. And while I don't think that Robin is a colorist, while I don't think that her aggression towards Wendy is rooted in colorism, I also don't feel like you have the right to tell someone to stop watching the show because they're mentioning colorism. Like, grow up. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Colorism is definitely the 8th housewife on Real Housewives of Potomac. The bitch always been there. She's an OG. She's been there since day one. It is what it is, okay? Now, when it comes to Giselle, I feel like Giselle's whole everything is rooted in colorism. It's propped up by colorism, okay? The girl is very proud of her light skin and her green eyes, and there's just nothing you can do about that. That's how she is. That's how she feels. That's just what it is. She has exposed herself in many ways to be a colorist. It is what it is. Her always saying how much she thinks that Candace is jealous of Ashley, to me, is a big one. Who the hell is looking at Ashley's life and say, I'm going to be jealous of that? You're looking at a black girl who grew up with privilege, grew up with wealth, grew up being able to have everything that she wants. And then you comparing her to Ashley, whose mother gave her a very unstable childhood, chose to be homeless, chose to be in these streets following behind men instead of raising her child and giving her child the things that she needs. Ashley married a man older than her parents to escape poverty, whereas Candace got to marry the man that she wanted to marry, the man that she loved. And you would look at her and say that she is jealous of Ashley. It don't make no sense to me. Giselle, one day you're gonna have to explain that. Back in season 2, when Monique stepped on the scene, y'all remember the tension between Giselle and Monique, okay? If you don't remember, then I don't know what to tell you. Giselle accused Monique of wearing colored contacts.
Oh, okay. I was obstructed by those fake contacts she had in her eyes.
Oh, Lord.
And I looked at Giselle like, girl, what? Now, we all know Monique has hazel eyes, okay? Light hazel eyes. And she said that this woman was wearing colored contacts. Why is it that you assume that she's wearing colored contacts? You yourself, you have green eyes. Why is it so hard to believe that this woman cannot be wearing her real eyes? Is it because her skin is darker than yours? During season 4, Monique made the comment about Katie being a free spirit and that she was giving very much Amistad, give us free. Giselle spun that whole thing around and used that opportunity to say that Katie on her worst day looks better than Monique. Now, y'all know I don't see it for Monique. But one thing I would never take away from that lady is a beautiful woman. She is stunning. She is gorgeous. I can't lie about that. I can't lie about that. The girl is gorgeous, okay? I'm not even gonna sit up here and cap for why. I don't need to do that. For her to say, Katie, who was walking around there with these dollar store wigs on top of her head, and they was crooked and they was going every which direction. For you to look at Katie and say that Katie on her worst day looks better than Monique, what you call that? What was the reason for her to say that? And she believed what she was saying. She wasn't just talking shit because she didn't like Monique. She meant every word of what she said. Giselle ain't never beaten them allegations. She's a colorist. But anyways, back to Robin. I don't believe that Robin is a colorist. She is aware of her light skin privilege. She is definitely aware of the way that the world treats her compared to the way the world treats someone like Wendy. Her issues with Wendy are making it very difficult for me to defend her. It doesn't look good. It really does not look good. But I don't think the motivation behind it is colorism. I think, number one, Robin is looking for moments this season. She's tired of being called the boring one. She's tired of everybody, you know, the little comments y'all be making about it. She be hearing it. She's tired of that. So I definitely think she's trying to turn up for camera time. That's number one. Number two, I think Wendy hurt her feelings. I really think that Wendy saying, girl, you don't even have a relationship that holds water, that hit her in her soft spot. She has not recovered from that. But do I think that, oh, I don't like that little dark-skinned girl, I'm going to go pick on her? I don't think that's the motivation. Now, do people treat Robin differently because of how she looks? Absolutely. Is Robin aware of it? Absolutely. We have seen Robin turn up over the years. And I don't remember them ever calling her aggressive. All the moments where Robin went up in people's face and was like, yeah. I ain't never seen them call her aggressive. But is that her fault that people weren't calling her aggressive? I mean, they're calling her aggressive now. But we're 7 seasons in. She's been doing things since season 1. And she's just now being called aggressive. Is that colorism? Absolutely. Is it her fault? I can't put that on her. I can't put on her how the world treats her. I will say, I wish Robin would speak up when she sees things going down that's not right. Not little passive like, oh, Giselle, don't do that. That's not right. No, Giselle, that's not right. I ain't fucking with it. Stop. I need her to give Giselle that type of energy. Not the Giselle, you can't do that. Or laughing or be like, no. I need her to be like, Giselle, that's not right. Ashley, that's not cool. Mia, don't do that. I'm not fucking with it. I wish she was more like that. But again, just because people are not labeling Robin aggressive, that doesn't necessarily make her a colorist. That means the people who are labeling Candace and Wendy aggressive, well then, yeah, they're the ones that's colorists, not Robin. And again, Robin been acting a fool. So it's really hard to defend her because I know people are going to be like, girl, shut up. And I'll take it. But for me, in my heart of hearts, and I'm not saying that I know for a fact that she is not colorist. I'm just saying from what I've seen on the show so far, I'm not ready to label her such. I'm just not. Now, Ashley, I think Ashley's a colorist. I 100% absolutely do think that Ashley is a colorist. I think that Ashley is fully aware of the privilege that her skin and her complexion and her proximity to whiteness gives her in society. She's fully aware of it and she weaponizes it as she sees fit. 100% absolutely. We know she has a brother that is a darker complexion, and I'm sure she loves him. I'm sure that she doesn't look at him any different than she looks at anyone else in her family that she loves. But I'm sure she knows that her brother's experiences in the world are very different from the experience that she has when she walks out into the world. She knows it. And I think even though she knows it, she has no problem weaponizing her. She has no problem weaponizing her privilege onto people that she doesn't fuck with. Like Candace, like Wendy, like Charisse. When she don't like you, she don't have no problem turning into a Karen. In this group, Ashley thinks that she should be allowed to get away with things, but the rules should always be different for Candace. Ashley terrorized this cast, season 1, season 2, season 3. She only calmed down season 4 a little bit. She did Katie wrong season 4. Ashley's mouth is just as bad as Candace's mouth. The only difference is she cannot match Candace's wit. Candace is quick, and she can't go against Candace. Every time she does go against Candace, she ends up looking like a fool. And that is one of the main reasons why she can't fucking stand Candace. Now, do I think she doesn't like Candace because Candace's complexion is darker than hers? I don't think so. But when she gets into conflict with Candace, she doesn't hesitate to wield her light-skin privilege at Candace. And that is the problem. After we watch seasons of Ashley harassing and terrorizing her castmates, she had the nerve to feel upset and to feel angry at Candace. She didn't care what she did to Robin. She didn't care what she did to Karen or Charisse or nobody. She didn't care. She just, how dare Candace do this to me? Ashley, you set the precedence on this show of exposing people, embarrassing people, using foul words at people. You set that precedence. Nobody else was doing that before you started doing it. And so when Candace gave you a little bit of your medicine, you lost it. You and your husband started treating Candace as if she was this terrible person. Y'all started this narrative of Candace being vile and Candace being this and all this other shit. Ashley, I'm sorry. Ashley and her supporters absolutely did that shit. The one time someone gave you a little bit of what you had been dishing out to people for years, you couldn't take it. And you made Candace the villain. Why is that? Season 5, you picked the fight with Wendy. Wendy was sitting there minding her business, and she noticed you brought your baby on the girls' trip. She said, ooh, and then she shut her mouth. Karen is the one that started prying. Oh, Wendy, do you see Ashley's baby? Is that making you miss your baby? What's going on? And she freely spoke her mind. She answered Karen's question, and you couldn't stand it. You went on the attack. You started jumping up out your seat and doing all of this and making this and saying all this stuff. My husband has to work. My husband is the owner of his company. No, my husband is the owner of the company. You started going off on Wendy, and Wendy matched your energy. Wendy was not louder than you. Wendy was not cussing at you. You were going at Wendy, and Wendy was going at you back. And you labeled that woman ferocious. Ferocious is something that you use to describe an animal, a wild animal, not a human being. You labeled that woman ferocious. She didn't get in your face. She didn't threaten you. She didn't do any of the things. Robin threatened you at least 3 times while you've been on this show. She got in your face. She came to your establishment and had her hands in your face like this, letting you know, girl, it's going to go down. You keep playing with me. And I'm definitely Team Robin, but you did not call her ferocious. You reserved that word for Wendy. And there's a reason for that. And I don't believe for a second that Ashley does not know what she's doing. I will be the first to say that Wendy is not my favorite, person on this show. I thoroughly enjoyed her season 5. Season 6, not so much. Season 7, I'm not saying that I enjoy her, but I really, really don't enjoy watching how she's being treated amongst the ladies. I don't like it. I don't like the comments being made about her. I really don't. So we saw, while they were filming, video footage of a fight breaking out in Potomac. The viewers immediately said it was Candace. Candace did it. She will never learn. Bring Monique back to beat her up because she will never learn. That girl deserves to be dragged again. And then we found out Candace wasn't even in Miami while this was going on. She wasn't even there. So how could she be a part of it? Then they found out it was Wendy. When the trailer came out, we saw that Mia took a drink and threw it at Wendy. And people were like, oh, well, Wendy must have deserved that. Wendy must have deserved that. She did something, I'm sure, to Mia. Now, I'm never trying to tell nobody who to like. I don't care if you don't like my faves. You don't have to have taste. I'm not forcing you to like who you don't want to like. I done told y'all before, Candace, y'all already know. If you watch my channel, you already know how much I ride for my girl Candace. And I love Robin as well. And y'all really forcing me to love Wendy the way y'all are treating her. Because I don't like it. I don't care who y'all like. But to say that this woman deserves a drink thrown at her, these women are on TV. These women spend a lot of time and effort into how they look and how they dress and how they wear their hair and their makeup. And you think that you're out dining, whatever. There's something that she could have said that would warrant Mia to take a drink and throw it at her. She deserves that. Without any context, y'all don't know what happened. Y'all don't know what was said. None of y'all was there. Y'all say that she deserves it. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. The way y'all treat Candace and Wendy. Y'all don't like when people say, hey, you're being colorist. Y'all don't like to hear it, but you are. You are. You're being colorist. Without any context, y'all are ready to say that Wendy deserved the drink. Ashley was in this woman's home and refusing to leave and disrespecting her and taunting her and calling her names. And Candace went off on her and was waving the butter knife as she's talking, not trying to stab her, not saying I'm gonna stab you, but just using it to talk and get out of my house. And she throws it down. Y'all been dragging Candace for years because of that. But no, Wendy deserves a drink thrown on her. But when people point that out to y'all, Mia, Ashley, Giselle, Robin, Karen, they're all given a pass for their behavior. They can do whatever they want to do, and it's never an issue. But let Wendy do anything. Let Candace do anything, and it's like there's no forgiveness for them. Giselle, you tried to embarrass, humiliate Wendy. You tried to start trouble and drama in this woman's personal life, in her marriage. And you have the nerve to come back on this season and play as if you are a victim of Wendy. No, ma'am. You got cussed out because you started with Wendy and she finished with you. And you have the nerve to sit up here and be upset and play victim. Robin, I love you, but you did the same thing. You know when Giselle starts with people, you know that is Giselle's life mission. And so long as she's on this show, it's going to be messy and trying to start stuff in people's world. So that she doesn't have to show her real life. She's going to pick apart other people's lives. When you saw Wendy coming at Giselle, you should have already known. Oh, my homegirl done started some mess. Let me sit back, child. Now, if she would have got up and started trying to fight Giselle, then you have a right to step in because that's your bet. But when she addressed Giselle, you should have kept your mouth shut. You should have stayed out of it. You chose not to stay out of it, and she had to wrap your ass up too. And I was on y'all's side because I really didn't care for how Wendy was handling the situation. But to be very honest, she didn't do nothing wrong. They really sit up here and want to play in your face. Giselle, Mia, Ashley, Karen, Robin, y'all want to play in people's faces. And then y'all want to dictate to them how they're allowed to respond. And it's not going to happen. It's not. It's not going to happen. That's not how these things go. You don't want none, then don't start none. Last year's storyline was y'all trying to say Eddie cheated on Wendy, had an outside baby on Wendy. He wanted to be with a white woman. He didn't want to be with Wendy. This season is Chris is trying to do the same thing. He's trying to cheat on Candace. Is it a coincidence that every woman that y'all say Chris was trying to holler at, they're all lighter skinned women. Y'all see yourselves as above Wendy. Y'all see yourselves as more attractive. Y'all see yourself as more, aesthetically pleasing than Wendy. So of course her husband's cheating on her. If Ashley and Giselle and Robin, they all can be cheated on, Wendy, your husband definitely got to be cheating. Candace, girl, if he married Candace, then he damn sure must be attracted to Giselle, right? He damn sure must be attracted to Ashley, right? He damn sure must be attracted to Ashley's friend. Y'all really trying to run with this narrative that Chris is cheating on Candace. And every woman that y'all have said that Chris propositioned, they're all lighter skinned women. Every single one of them. Now, it may not occur to them that, we telling on ourselves, but y'all telling on yourselves. Y'all are. So it's really upsetting to me when I see comments from people saying, oh, the viewers should stop pointing out colorism is going to ruin the show. I feel like me specifically, because I do speak about colorism, that I'm being gaslit. I don't like that shit. I don't understand how is it that me pointing out colorism or discrimination or racism, how is that going to ruin the show? They are literally making a mockery of SA. They're literally making a mockery of the Me Too movement. Currently, on this season, they are doing that. That's not going to ruin the show. I'm one of the girls that watches most of the Housewives franchise. I don't just watch the black girls. I watch all the girls, okay? Well, most of the girls. OC, I've watched it, but I don't really get into it like that. But I watch most of the franchises. And some crazy stuff has gone down on all of the franchises. All of them. They have tackled all types of issues. Y'all remember what happened season 2 in Beverly Hills with Taylor's husband. I'm not going to say it, but if you know, you know. That didn't ruin the show. We've dealt with illnesses. We've dealt with mental breakdowns. We've dealt with SA accusations. This season in Beverly Hills, y'all saw what happened with Garcelle's son. He was sent racist messages and death threats. This is a 14-year-old kid. People, fans, are sending death threats to a 14-year-old child. But people have more smoke for someone going on their page and saying, hey, I don't like this that happened. I feel it was colorism. That is more upsetting to you all than what happened to Garcelle's son. Last year, Candace shared how someone literally was sending Candace messages after message after message after message for like 30 minutes straight. She was screen recording it. Some of y'all saw the video. This person was relentlessly sending her threats, saying how she was going to find Candace and pull up on her because of what happened in season 5. That didn't ruin the show. Mia lying about cancer, that hasn't ruined the show. But someone saying, this little situation right here, I don't like it. It's colorism. I'm tired of the gaslighting. That's some bullshit and y'all know it. Sorry to tell y'all, but this is year 2022, okay? And we're almost about to be at 23. When you see some shit you don't like, we're allowed to speak on that shit. And if it bothers you, you should ask yourself why it bothers you. Maybe you're guilty of some of that shit. You are allowed to call all of that shit out. You don't get to tell people, oh my God, being woke is gonna ruin Housewives. Oh, well, if it ruins Housewives, then it ruins Housewives. If you're gonna keep displaying acts of colorism, it's going to be talked about. And telling people to stop watching the show is not gonna happen. Come in my house and turn my TV off. Since that's the statements that people wanna make. Last year, I made a video on colorism, and in the comments, someone told me that I should tune out. Another person said that, oh, if you don't like what's happening on Potomac, then you need to go watch Atlanta. But we're making shit up, but we're reaching, right? So last month, I retweeted the video of Ashley going off on Vicky at BravoCon when she was mad and she said that Vicky dismissed her and Vicky didn't know who she was, right? Okay. So I said if Candace had behaved this way, Ashley would be the first one to call her aggressive. And baby, I ruffled some feathers and I don't give a damn. I really don't. One of the response, everybody started jumping down my neck, talking about colorism this, colorism that. And if I wanted to make a tweet about colorism, I would, because I can, because who gonna stop me? But it really wasn't even about colorism. It was just really to show that Ashley loves to criticize Candace's mouth and the way that Candace handles situations. And the way she handles situations ain't much different. That was all the tweet was about. But people start coming for my neck, talking about colorism this, colorism that. And this one particular guy said to me that it looks as if I must have an issue with light-skinned women. And that pissed me off. That really got on my nerves because, number one, my family, we are freaking rainbow. We have every shade and every shade in between. I never want any of my nieces or my cousins who are lighter skinned, many of them biracial. I would never want them ever and ever and ever to think that I have a problem with them because of their complexion or that I have a problem with their white mother or their white father, because I got a lot of mixtures in my family, okay? Never would I want them to do that. But I would also hope that they don't think that me defending myself or me defending people who look like me is a disrespect towards them or is a dig at them. I never want that. And I know that the person who made this comment to me was being an asshole, but I still want to make that clear. I would never, ever, ever, ever want anyone to think that I don't like light-skinned women, because that's bullshit. That is bullshit. It's been my personal experience in my life. I can't speak for no one else, but I can speak for myself. A lot of times when I've been in situations where someone was being colorist towards me, one of the first people to jump up and defend me has been a light-skinned woman. They're quick to shut that shit down. So I don't personally believe that all light-skinned women are bad or all light-skinned women are colorists. I don't think that. I would never think that, because that's insane. And when people when people purposefully misunderstand you, that shit is irritating. And that makes me feel like you're derailing the conversation and you have motive. You have an ulterior motive for derailing the conversation, because obviously that's not what I'm trying to say. Obviously that's not what that other person is trying to say. I remember my very first job, okay? I worked in a department store at the Galleria, and I worked at different makeup counters. I was contingent, so I kind of worked wherever they needed me, right? And I didn't have formal training on the product line. I literally would have to just go drawer by drawer and just try to learn as much as I could about the products. So a lot of times the women who were actually working there, they would always swoop in and steal my sales. So I'm at this particular counter one day, this light-skinned lady, she comes up to me. She's like, oh my God, your makeup is real smooth. I like it, da-da-da-da. We're talking. And of course, one of the other ladies swoops in. She wants to hijack the sale. So we're all talking, and she mentions a product, and she's like, you know, she's also lighter than me. And she's like, but she's a little bit, you know, she's brown, but she's lighter than me. And she recommends this product to the customer, and she's like, oh, you know, this works really well, even for a brownie like me. And the customer, a lighter skinned lady, she shut that shit down. Oh my gosh, she went off. And I was just kind of like, damn. She let that lady have it. Like, she was like, absolutely not. We're not playing that colorist shit over here. We're not doing it. She put that lady in her place. That wasn't surprising to me, because I've witnessed a lot of light-skinned women go up and be like, oh no, we're not doing that. So when people say, oh, you must have an issue with a light-skinned woman, when I tell you that comment, I wanted to cuss him out. I did not do it, but I wanted to. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw. I just dismissed him and told him he was a comedian. But that really, really got on my nerves. That got on my nerves. I don't feel like calling out colorism divides Black women. I really don't. But when you tell a black woman that she has an issue with another black woman simply because of her skin tone, that is what divides black women. And that shit pissed me off. Like I said, I know lots of light-skinned women that they don't tolerate that mess. They will shut you down. They don't play it. Because you never know people, you never know. That lady probably has a darker skinned daughter or a dark skinned mama or auntie or grandmother whom she loves. So when she saw that shit, she shut it down. And so for someone to say, oh, you don't like light-skinned people because I'm defending myself, because I'm calling out colorism means I don't like light-skinned people. Are you well? That to me is just like you're purposefully trying, you are intentionally trying to misunderstand what's happening because whatever privileges or whatever you get out of being a colorist, you want to hold on to that privilege. That's what it tells me when people get upset that you're speaking about colorism. Because what else? Me, I don't like to go around walking around this world offending nobody. Very recently, I learned a word that we all say, especially black people. We say this word all the time. I found out it offends a certain community. I ain't using the word no more. They took it off Beyonce's album. They took it off a Lizzo song. That's all the information I need. Oh, it's offensive? I ain't gonna say it. I'm not gonna fight for my right to say the word. Why I gotta say the word? If it's offensive, it's offensive. So when people like fight to say certain things or to do certain things that you know aren't right, that tells me you're telling on yourself. Actually, you're telling on yourself without telling on yourself. That's what you're doing. And another thing that I've noticed, okay, especially with this whole Robin and Wendy thing, like I said, I personally do not see it as colorism, but I'm finding it very hard to defend Robin these days. I won't lie. And I've learned that just because it don't look like colorism to you doesn't mean that it's not. Just because it don't look like it to me doesn't mean that it's not. It just doesn't mean that. I will never forget, it was season 11 on Real Housewives of Atlanta. And they were that's when Shamari was introduced and they went to her black concert, right? And I think it was Portia. She said something like, oh my God, you guys are so nice to Shamari. Y'all didn't act this way when Shamia came around the group. And somebody was like, well, Shamia is not black, meaning the group black, right? And then Eva picks it up and says, Shamia black too. She's just not black with the Q. And Kandi did not like that shit. Kandi was triggered. Kandi did not like it. And at the time, I was Team Eva because I was like, what'd she say wrong? I didn't get it. I didn't think that Eva had said anything wrong. I was just like, Kandi, you kind of reaching, Kandi. Then season 12 came. Season 12 came and Eva was irritated with Kenya and Portia. And she referred to them as nappy heads. And I said, oh, this is what Kandi was talking about. This is what Kandi was talking about. And then it dawned on me. Kandi has spent time with Eva. Not every interaction makes it to the show. There are probably other things that Eva said that put Kandi on her guard. There's probably a lot more that was said in that conversation that we just didn't get a chance to see. And I learned, like, okay, maybe sometimes you should shut up. My tweets are probably still up because I was not here. I thought Kandi was reaching. But I realized after season 12, yeah, sometimes just because it doesn't look like that to you doesn't mean it's not that. So even though I don't think that Robin is trying to be a colorist, there might be something someone else sees that I don't see. And maybe they're not the best at articulating themselves. But there might just be something that they're seeing that I don't see. So I'm not going to condemn anyone for what they feel. Unless you're coming at me with some bullshit, then that's a different thing. But I ain't gonna lie. I have seen some tweets where people are saying that Robin is colorist. And I don't necessarily think, I don't see it that way. Now, I did see a little preview of the next episode. And yeah, y'all not beating them allegations. It's not looking too good. It's not looking too good. I already know Twitter is going to be ablaze. It's not looking too good at all. But anyways, Please like, comment, subscribe, share my video. I know I done pissed some of y'all off, but guess what? I be getting pissed off when I see the rubbish on my television screen. I do. So let's all try to do better. How about that?